Guess what? It's finally time for the judging, well, not really judging, more comparison, for the Try Maker Challenge. This month, we were challenged to make beer steins, and this is mine right here. I made it out of oak, and I made a nice carved handle. It's time to take a look at the two challengers and the way they made theirs. This time, the two challengers were Kit from Skilltree and Kurt from BORG3D. I'm really excited to see the way two different makers went about making the same project, so let's get right into it.
What up, fam? Welcome to Skilltree, where we learn how to do just about everything. And welcome to the very first edition to the Challenge.
Great as always there, Kit.
The way it works is two of us will go head-to-head trying to make the same project, while one of us judges. In the same time, we strongly hope that you guys will participate as well. All of our subscribers kind of jumping in on it, jumping on the Discord, which is in the description. Show us what you're working on, bandy ideas with us. I know I definitely got a little bit of help while I was figuring stuff out from Discord. So with all that said, hit me with a drum roll. So my skill monkeys and fellow competitors, for your consideration, I give you my beer stein.
Looks really good.
Now I know my skill monkeys are always ready to throw down, so without much further ado, let's level up these staves. Now since each one of these staves has two angles, you're angling two sides, you then take that number and you divide it by 2. So 360 divided by 8 is 45, 45 divided by 2 is 22.5, so that's the angle of the cut I need to make. This led to a long session of trying to work out how I could possibly make such a precise cut.
So I see the problem you have, right? The easiest tool to do that with is not at your disposal, Kit. So I'm really looking forward to see how you figure this out.
You have access to a table saw, you really underestimate how the right tool for the right job really makes a giant difference. But after a good long time turning the problem over, I had the seed of an idea. To this end, I made this. Behold, the Angler 2000. It was a neat little workaround.
Yeah, I really like your workaround. That's like you said. It's, the big thing about making is taking problems that you don't know how to solve yet and figuring out a way around them. That was a good one.
Anyway, I went ahead and cut my 1.5 by 1/2 inch oak boards into 8 8-inch staves. This is going to end up being where the bottom of the tankard sits into. To remove this material, first I cut my 2 lines. Using a chisel, I knocked out the little fingers of wood and cleaned out the space.
Another way you can do this if you have the tool is using a router. Let's see, do I have one at my disposal? Ah, right here. So you could put a plunge bit in your router and you could do that just in 1 or 2 passes.
So like talking a big swag about these angles and stuff, but it wasn't until this point right there that I realized it was actually going to work out.
That was a satisfying fit up. That was real nice.
Once I was pleased with that, I started pouring on the Titebond wood glue on every surface that needed to stick, going back through with a paintbrush to spread it as evenly as possible. Then I rolled that sucker up and clamped it all together with these big hose clamps. To make the top and bottoms perfectly flat, I marked them with a pencil held flat against the table, and then cut off the excess with a handsaw. Using a belt sander, I shaped it at an angle to my mark. For this purpose, I picked up a 1/2 inch by 1/8 flat steel stock. Using the cup as a guide, I tapped the steel into shape, then marked off the next angle. Another quick note, you really want to do it this way where you bend it into shape and then mark off the next angle. Originally, I just made a measurement, like I knew the thickness of these staves, right? So I just made measurements and then I cut them all. And when you close it, it doesn't work out. And
Yes, it's weird to think about that, but that is 100% true. For some reason, when you bend metal, the insides of the bends are actually shorter than what you're bending at. It's a whole science of bending. If you actually get really deep into it, you'll fall into a wormhole of information. But it is very complex. I believe This Old Tony has a great video about bending. I'll leave that.
Then I stain the whole cup a rich mahogany brown, being sure to hit around the taped off area with a drier brush to keep the stain from bleeding underneath the tape.
That stain was food safe, right? Ah, it doesn't matter. You'll be fine. Right? You'll be fine? I hope so.
Using these little brass screws, I brought this challenge to a close with class and style.
Yeah, that looks really, really good. I think, I personally like the natural color of the wood, but I really think that you made the two-tone color really look awesome. Let's take a look at the rest of this little montage.
See this little guy? This is the microphone that came with my camera. Okay, so to place my thumb in the scales of fate and to firmly press the odds ever in my favor, I figured if one badass mug is good, two badass mugs are better.
I'm gonna have to speed through this part. The first one took too long.
I just found a tree the right diameter and pushed that mother down. Having accomplished my first mighty deed of the day, I brought my prize back to the workshop for wood alchemy and whatnot. Using highly advanced methods, I drew out a circle and outlined the shape of the cavity. With a plan and a dream, I started drilling the bulk of the material out with a Forstner bit. I then cleaned up the rest with a good sharp chisel. Then I tapered in the lip area with sandpaper, leaving a nice comfortable surface for my sipping pleasures. For the handle, I decided to use this piece of antler because, look at it. Honestly, that's awesome. So if you're like, for some reason, I need an antler, you can find a bit of antler at like Petco or something. 2 coats of shellac. Then put it back together and added some upholstery tacks for a little extra style. And bam! Check out that sexy Stein. It looks like something a barbarian king would use for his ale.
Yeah, so, man, those were some really good Steins. So, I really like how you had to overcome the challenge of not having, the best tool for the job. Instead, you made a tool, which is exactly what being a maker is all about. And then the second Stein, I love how it just looks barbarian. Almost like elegantly barbarian. Man, yeah. Now it's time to take a look at BORG3D's entry. So, let's take a look.
Hey there, welcome back to BORG3D. For the first episode of the Try Maker tournament, today we're making the beer mug.
But Clever made too.
Well then, so did I.
Oh yeah.
Out of hardwood, I got beech. I couldn't find oak from my local supplier and I can't wait to get started on this, so beech will have to do. And I'm going to use leather to embellish it, and I think beeswax to coat the inside to make it waterproof. Now beeswax obviously will not withstand warm beverages, but since beer is best served cold, who drinks warm beer? And beeswax will just do the trick. I'm really stoked to get started on this project, and yeah, let's get to it. The idea is to take this half plank of beech wood and cut it down into strips. If I manage to get that straight enough, then I'll get I'll get an angle on the table saw and cut off the angles hopefully as accurately as possible. Once the boards were cut up, I ripped the panels into smaller fingers. These segments will eventually become the walls of the beer mug.
It seems like Kurt and Clever are making the same sort of design for the first one, but I'm excited to see Kurt's second mug and how he goes about doing that one.
To be a lot of these fingers, right, with an angle on either edge, so they'll be shaved off at the corner, and it will adjoin to the next one, forming a polygon, really, a 15-sided polygon.
Ah, so Kurt's going with more sides than Clever did. I wonder how that changes any of the manufacturing process. I guess it wouldn't change that much, really. I guess you just have a little bit more tedious of a process with Kurt's version of doing more sides. It also will be closer to a circle. So it's really interesting.
Now to do that, again, I'm going to use probably my least favorite tool, the table saw once more. This project is going to be very table saw intensive.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Clever. Kurt has the better music. Yeah, I'm dancing with BORG3D's video. Skill tree, come on. Bump up your music game. I'm just kidding. You guys are both doing great. Just, BORG3D is winning.
When all the fingers had been cut, angled properly and sanded flat, it was time to start the glue up and put the mug together. I sketched the shape of the handle that I wanted. This ended up being a bit too big for the end project, but this was trimmed later on. I cut it with a jigsaw using a very thin blade, which allowed me to do very nice curves even on hardwood.
Pull saw, yes! Pull saws are the best. I have mine right here. That's why they're the best. Get a pull saw.
Using my Japanese razor saw, I cut the extra pieces of the mug in order to have a flat surface. After the glue dried, I spent a good couple of hours filling in all the gaps using wood filler and sanding everything smooth by hand. I drilled mating holes both in the handle and in the body of the mug so that later I could glue in a dowel to hold the handle in place while it dried.
I think, Kurt, you just win because you made the largest beer stein in the world. We'll have to see how it turns out, though. Haha!
Black if I see that it's not working.
I like that. That's gonna look super nice. Yeah. Me like it.
After I had sketched the runes on the vetched and leather, I carved them using my swivel knife and then eventually tooled them and textured them with a beveler and a backgrounder. For the beer mug's finish, I decided to use stung oil. This oil really brings out the grain in the wood.
Oh yeah, that looks beautiful.
I used the double boiler method to melt some beeswax. Once it was completely melted with no visible particles, I poured it into the beer mug and swirled it around to coat the inside evenly.
Oh yeah, that looks dope. I really love the band with the leather. That's super creative. I never would have thought to do that ever. Yeah, and then I love your finishing shot with it all next to your other gear. That looks awesome.
Let me start concluding this video by saying that it has been an absolute pleasure organizing this event, this Trymaker tournament, with Kit, Clever from Skilltree, and Eli from Geek Out Hobbies. This was such a challenge to make. It started off as a plank of beech, and I worked my way through it by cutting it into fingers, cutting the angles, gluing them together, making the handle, making the leather wrap, engraving and tooling the leather so that it reads Trymaker Tournament and Dwarven, and beeswax in the inside, and it works just fine, and it's my own and I made it. And it makes me so happy that I made something like this, which was something that I've been meaning to do and I've never actually achieved before.
Yes, exactly. That's all about what the Trymaker tournament's about. Pushing your skills, learning new skills, and, you know, being able to be in a group of people who are supportive, all making the same thing, all learning new skills every single month. And just like Kurt was saying, we do have the community in the Discord. It linked in the description. It will be the first link. And I really look forward to seeing you there. So now let's compare Kurt and Clever's work. Both of them, for their first mug, they both did that paneling, which I really liked. I also think having more panels looked much nicer, so, you know, it's more of a circle, so I think some points to Kurt there. He also had multimedia, so leather and wood, and it looks amazing. The fact that it says Trymaker Tournament on there is genius. You know, Clever also did that multimedia. He used steel and wood, which looked amazing. That twist in the handle was just beautiful. So, it's really hard to decide who the winner is. Yeah, there's still nothing in here. I drank it all. And the winner is you. That's right, you're the winner, because you have the opportunity to join an amazing community of makers, getting to spread the joy of creating, getting to learn new skills every month, and just having a blast doing it. Now, what on earth is the challenge for next month? Seeing as how I'm the judge, I feel like I should have the privilege of discerning what the next challenge is. So, shouldn't be something wood. I would like to expand my skills. You know what I've been doing a lot of recently? Juggling. Let's make some juggling balls. Hey, Clever, I challenge you this month to learn how to make juggling balls and to learn how to juggle at least 3 balls. You have no limit on material, no limit on any way you want to go about doing it, and going head to head with you next month. Bring your A game, because I'm bringing mine. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please give it a like. If you really love what I'm doing here, feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.